Boruto Episode 2, Hokage's Son. I actually liked this episode a bit more than I enjoyed the premiere. Not only did we get a pretty cool fight at the end of this episode with Boruto and Iwabei, which was very cool because they did two references in that fight. And the first one was to Sasuke, where Boruto, I think it starts off where he does the kick, and then he does the punch, both of which get blocked. So he uses his free foot to basically flip upside down and try to kick Iwabei in the head. That's from, like, basically season 2 when Sasuke did that during the Chunin exams. They're in, like, a similar looking location and everything. They have the hands together. And it's the same color aesthetic, but obviously it's a training ground instead. So I was like, that's very interesting. And it was just like, the whole fight was just references and stuff. So the first move was to Sasuke, and then of course the ending. And I was like, I don't know if this will happen, but we'll see what happens as it's playing out. Because I'm like, he can't, use his chakra too much, and he can't make too many shadow clones. So we'll see how it works. And then of course, as it goes to the end, they have it where it replicates Naruto versus Neji during like the final battles of the Chunin exam, where Neji was like, okay, so the clone that's way in the back, that's the real you, because of course you don't want to get beat up. And naturally he attacks that and it ends up being a clone, and that's when Naruto actually beats him. Well, he doesn't beat him because of that, but that was a big reveal, like holy crap, he knew how to perfectly do it, and he was actually fighting the whole time. So they do that with Boruto, and that's how he ends up winning the fight, which I thought was actually very cool. So I really enjoyed the references that they put in there. The fight itself I thought was cool. We got to see a little bit of Iwabei can do. We find out that he's 2 years older than everybody else. He's pretty good with the ninjutsu. He was running on the walls and stuff. I don't think any of the kids can do that just yet. So he's running on the walls. He's using substitutions, which I swear to God, I feel like I haven't seen an actual substitution in 8 years. So that was interesting, like an actual log hit the ground. I was like, I don't think I've seen that, not counting the games, I don't think I've seen that in the anime in years. So it was funny to see that. But he was pretty cool, and we find out that the little staff that he carries around, I believe it has, it's got similar properties to Asuma's weapons from Shippuden, the kunai that can hold chakra. So he's able to use like earth style as he's using it. Like when he pulls it out, he basically creates an earth wave, and he creates, like a mallet rock at the end of it. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm assuming, he can channel his chakra through it. So I thought that was pretty sweet. Maybe it relates to, maybe where he got it, because it seems kind of random that he's like the only person at this point outside of Inojin who has, of course, like he's got his scrolls and stuff. But I was like, okay, he's like the only person in here who has like some random sort of physical weapon that he walks around with. So I was like, maybe there's something important to that. So I thought it was cool that we got to see that fight. Of course, the beginning of the episode is Boruto going back to the school. It's him, kind of being on the coattails of his father. That's kind of like the whole point of this, is that he is, of course, the Hokage's son. And I actually like that. I thought it was a pretty good thing that they were doing in this episode, where even though it's kind of a big part of Boruto, where it's like, I'm totally different from my dad, it's kind of a big thing, because it's like, from Naruto to Boruto, the series as viewers is like, Boruto constantly saying how he's so different. You see it in the manga, it's in like the Boruto movie and stuff. So we get that a lot, but in this I think it worked out very well. And it was him not just saying I'm different from my dad, but I'm not just getting off scot-free because of my father, and I'm not riding his coattails to get everything that I want. I want to succeed on my own and make a name for myself. So I thought that was actually pretty cool, and he stands up for himself. I don't know what the deal is with Inojin. He makes me laugh. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right, because when I read it, that's how I say it out loud. But he made me laugh in this, where he's like, oh, did I say that out loud? Where he was riding on his coattails. And then Boruto was like, no big deal. Let's study together and be friends or whatever. And he just smacked his hand away like, you're not even worth my trust. I was like, this kid makes me laugh. It's hard to tell where he's going to land on the subject, and I like that. So I like him. He's just funny. Like, he comes in at the end of the battle where he's like, okay, he gains a bit of respect for Boruto by the end of the episode. So he kind of sends his little phoenix in, and he picks up the hammer. I was like, I thought you said you weren't going to use weapons and stuff. So he kind of makes sure that the battle ends, on a legitimate standpoint. So I thought that was pretty cool, where it showed, the differences, and he talks to the other boys who are like, even if Boruto does something in the future, he would just get off scot-free. So he's like, you guys are so sad and stuff. And I was like, alright. He's gaining a little bit of respect for Boruto, and a lot of other kids, because he, stood up to like the bully in the class, have a bit more respect for him as well. And even Iwabei himself has a bit more respect. So I was like, I like this for sure. We still get to see the partnerings, and I think I mentioned this for the premiere review, that it's kind of weird knowing where Boruto is headed as far as like his team with Sarada and Mitsuki, because he was like, considering that like he's got his two buddies next to him, I'm like, it's gonna be weird to see him transfer into teams after this. And it's like, man, he was hanging out, with these two guys like the whole time before he got an official team. I feel like it's gonna be weird when we finally do actually get to them being assigned teams and they don't talk as much. Like, I was just like, man, that's interesting because they were hanging out the whole freaking episode. So we have Denki who was hanging out with him. I don't know where he even had that laptop at. He just had it in the backpack, I guess. So he's looking up stuff about them during the fight. And then, of course, Shikata is there talking to him and being just like his father, which is really funny. But I was like, man, that's funny that the two of them, are so close in this. And like I said, in my premiere review, I haven't read the manga yet. I read like the first chapter and I realized like the first, I don't know, like 6 chapters are Boruto the movie, so I'm probably going to be skipping through those. But I haven't gotten to like the main story just yet, so I don't know if these characters, like show up again, if Denki shows up, or Iwabe or any of these guys are going to be showing up in the main story yet. But for now, it's like, okay, I like these characters. Not too much focus on them. Of course, Iwabe being fully introduced, I thought was cool to learn his story about him being like 2 years older than everyone else. So he is better in a sense, but of course he gets beat up. He's kind of cocky. In an odd sort of sense, Boruto, with the whole point of this episode, him staying away from his father's image. Iwabe wants to be just like his dad, where he's like, he's all about strength and stuff. And I was like, I highly doubt that he's going to end up being, the villain that shows up later in the series or anything. I highly doubt. I don't know. That would be crazy. I wouldn't be too surprised if he was like, look at this, and he, takes the thing off his hairstyle. I doubt that'll happen, but I was like, oh no, I could easily see this whole strength thing turning into, I became a villain because I wanted to be the most powerful person, and that's why, I killed the Hokage and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens with him. It doesn't look like the same character either, so I'm like, I highly doubt it is that guy from the future segment of the premiere, but it was just interesting. It's like, the strong survive and stuff like that. And he talks about the war and how everyone kind of grew up after the war happened, and then they kind of changed how everything played out, and he seemed really upset about that. It seemed like he was kind of like, if it was the old ways, I'd be a ninja by now because it was more about strength rather than just stupid classes and stuff. He really made me feel like I was in college again, because I was like, oh my god, I felt just like this. Where I was like, all I want to do is this. I don't need to learn art from 1800s to 1902. It was really crazy. I was like, man, that's like exactly what I was saying when I was in college. It was really funny. But I really enjoyed this episode. I like the introduction to Iwabe. We didn't get, really anything else. They were in the school the whole time. We do see, Anko Mitarashi. It's been a long time since I saw her. I just still hate the fact that they, made her chubby. I think that's funny. But I was just like, oh, that really sucks. I liked her character. I thought she was actually cool if they decided to ever do anything with her, considering she actually was, the first person to have a curse mark and stuff. And they never went anywhere with that story. And I'm like, man, they really could have done a lot with that character, because she's, in the tuning exam after that, there's one filler where they go through her backstory with Orochimaru from the original series, and that is it. And I'm like, man, there's so much they could have done with that character that they just did. They kind of, it's like, yeah, she's there, she's hot, and she does the tuning stuff, and gone. Solely, so important to what Orochimaru was doing in the past. It was like, just leave her. And that was it. And it's just like, wow, now she's just chubby, and I guess she's still a teacher. But it was funny seeing her. We see, a tiny bit of Shino in this, where he's like, where are my students? And then they have class. Not much else, and that's just about it. But it was a pretty good episode. We do see the official ending at the end of this episode, compared to last time where it was just the credits and the song. We see the actual full ending, and I feel like it was showing us who the most important characters are going to be. So of course we have Inoshika Cho as our team. We have, of course, Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki. I'm very curious when he's going to come into the story, considering his origins. I'm very curious how they're going to play that. I would assume it has to be fairly soon, because he ends up on their team, so it has to be before they're assigned the different teammates and stuff. So I expect we'll see him probably in a month or so, depending on how long they decide to really go with the school thing. But I'm assuming he's going to show up sooner rather than later. But we see, like I said, Inoshika Cho, Boruto's team. And I don't think they even showed Denki at the end of the credits, which I thought was fairly interesting. They showed just the children of the former characters, and I feel like that just shows how important those characters are going to be for this story. So I am excited for that, because we get, kind of a good focus on the new Inoshika Cho team, and I'm looking forward to how that's going to play out with, the pairings and stuff of the adults, and seeing how they react to the kids, and how the kids are with the blending of obviously different characters, and some of them being very similar. Of course, Shikamaru-san is exactly him, but you have kids you know, you have Ino and Sai having a child. And like I said, you can't really tell where the heck on the spectrum he's landing based off of this episode. So it's like some of the kids are more interesting than others, but it's actually still kind of cool. Like even seeing Shikamaru's son is like, I actually like seeing that because some of my favorite flashbacks were of Shikamaru and Naruto when they were kids, because Shikamaru was just the guy who's like, he's like the most adult kid where he's so laid back. I actually enjoy seeing that. Maybe because I was like that as a kid, I don't know. But I always like seeing the flashbacks of like Shikamaru and Naruto when they always hung out because it was just like super relaxed. And Shikamaru was like the one person where it was like, whatever, Naruto's super crazy and he's dumb sometimes, but sure, I'll hang out with him, it doesn't matter. So I kind of like seeing that again with their kids. But pretty good episode as far as I'm concerned. Of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And honestly, with this being the first big fight of the anime, I would love to know what you guys thought about it. Like I said, personally, I really enjoyed it. It was a simple fight, but I didn't expect it to be like insanely over the top. I've seen, you know, the Boruto movie, so I know where it can go, and I think I know where it's headed based off of the premiere with the, you know, flash forward. But I enjoyed this fight, and I love the references. Like I said, the location obviously was meant to represent like the Chunin exams, the reference to Sasuke in that very specific move, which I always loved, and that's how I remembered it was Sasuke, because they put that in one of the games. I was like, it just looked so unique to have that sort of move come up where it's like, okay, he got blocked from a kick, he got blocked from the punch, and he's basically floating in there the whole time. And then he does like an upside down kick, and I always remember that being such a unique move to do, to get out of basically having like two blocks, and it's like his leg and like his arm, because I think it's like his right arm and right leg or something like that, or maybe it's his left arm and right leg or something. But the way he does it, I just always thought it looked unique, so I was like, okay, clear reference there. Obviously, the way the battle ended with it, you know, referencing Naruto and Neji, this is a really cool reminiscent battle where it's like clearly they did that to just kind of throw some cool references in there. And in its own right, it was a pretty fun fight to watch with the new characters. So I enjoyed it myself, but like I said, we'd love to know what you guys thought about this first official fight from the Boruto anime. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.